Hey guys, welcome back to the MCU HQ. The first episode of Moon Knight, titled The Goldfish Problem, premiered yesterday. I did not have a chance to review it yesterday, but I did have a chance to watch it not once but twice and really take everything in and really get a lot of good notes for this review. So I am going to be reviewing the first episode in this video, both non-spoiler and spoiler. I will give a spoiler warning when I'm segueing into the spoiler section of the video. And for that, if you have not seen it, do be wary of the comment section. There could be some spoilers down there, but I will start with non-spoiler for anyone who does not want to get spoiled on this video. Okay, so right off the bat, this episode starts and you're hooked pretty much immediately. It does a very good job of getting you invested and keeping you invested its entire runtime. The beauty of this show is that the episodes are longer, that's been confirmed, and this first episode runs about 45-ish minutes without credits. So no more 25-minute, no more 30-minute BS. We're getting into actual lengthy television episodes, thank God. And this is the best premiere episode of any of these Disney Plus shows so far. I'll even throw in the Star Wars Disney Plus shows. This is the best premiere episode I've seen of a Disney Plus show, period. It is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's great the first time, even better the second time. And there's so much drama, intrigue, and mystery in this show where you have Stephen Grant's character and he's really confused because he'll randomly wake up after some insane event and you don't know what it was, and that's because, he shares with the Mark Spector persona, so he's kind of confused of what's going on and he's all over the place and he's kind of a mess. The guy needs a hug. And who do you get to portray a dissociative identity or disorder this well? Oscar Isaac plays Stephen Grant / Mark Spector, and he kills it. It is some phenomenal acting. Having Oscar Isaac in the MCU is such a treat. He already is giving an Emmy-worthy performance, and we're only one episode in. There is a scene or two scenes in this first episode that broke my heart. I wanted to give the man a hug. It was beautiful. And opposite him, also a great acting goldmine, they got Ethan Hawke to play Arthur Harrow, who's our villainous character, and he's only in a few scenes, but Ethan Hawke's presence on screen and his mannerisms, the way he carries himself as this character, the way he delivers his lines, it is haunting, it's mysterious, and even though he's only in a couple scenes, as opposed to Oscar Isaac, who is in almost every single scene of the episode, Ethan Hawke really does give a memorable performance. And I love that they actually introduced the antagonist in the first episode instead of waiting to do some big villain twist at the end of episode 5 and really screw up the pacing of the entire show. Now, there was not a lot of Moon Knight in this episode. It was really designed to set up Stephen as a character and Arthur as a character and set up this world and the storyline we might be getting. And even though I say there's not a lot of Moon Knight, the amount of stuff and Moon Knight related stuff that they were able to set up in this one episode was more than I expected they would do. At the end of it, when I was writing down notes, I was like, they really crammed a lot of stuff in here. It never felt too rushed. It also never felt too slow. They paced it very well. And judging by this episode, this is the first Marvel Disney Plus show that does not feel like it could be a movie. It really does feel like the first one that needs to be a TV show. I've been waiting for that. Happy we're finally getting that. And so if you're going into this episode expecting some high caliber Daredevil level action, you will be disappointed. But if you're going into this episode expecting a deep character study on who Stephen Grant is and the world around him, you will love this episode in the same way a lot of people did. And the best part is that even though you're having this build up with who these characters are, that mystery of what is going on is still there, and it's all building to this cool conclusion at the end of the episode that I cannot wait to talk about in the spoiler part of this video. Mohamed Diab was the director of this episode, and I think he also directs episode 2. I'm not sure if he directs every episode, but he did direct this episode. He has a very cool directing style with the way he shot certain scenes. There's some scenes in there, the way he does the transitions are super cool, and he directs it to leave that sense of mystery, almost like where you start off on Stephen Grant and the camera pulls back to reveal everything else. It's a really nice directing technique for a character like Moon Knight. Jeremy Slater was the writer of this episode. He wrote Four Stick and Death Note. He also wrote Umbrella Academy, and this show is very well written. He was a great writer for this show. I'm very impressed with what he did. To my knowledge, though, he only writes this episode and the last episode. So the 4 in the middle, apparently other people write, and I'm hoping the writing is at the same level of quality as this first episode was. This was a great episode. I honestly don't know how they're going to be able to top this episode. And he wrote drama and emotion and these moments of levity all so well. And you'll see them there's a 3-minute scene in this episode that starts off really uplifting. There's a great moment of levity and that dives into much more emotional stuff before segueing into a super dramatic scene after it. And he balances all 3 of those so well. The way he writes Stephen Grant is so perfect that you get to the point where all you want to see is Stephen Grant. And Oscar Isaac's accent as Stephen Grant, he's doing it for so long in the episode that whenever you just hear normal Oscar Isaac voice, because Mark Spector is just normal Oscar Isaac voice, it's honestly jarring, and you forget what Oscar Isaac actually sounds like because of how much time he spends doing his little British accent thing. So from beginning to end, from the hook to the epic conclusion of this episode, I was hooked. I loved it. I cannot wait to see what more this show does. This has been the best Disney Plus premiere ever. I am into this show, so let's hope it does not go off a cliff. Let's hope it stays consistent and stays good its entire runtime. But that's going to be it for non-spoilers, so if you're not here for the spoiler section, leave now. If you are here for spoilers, welcome. I am not going to be doing a play-by-play of the entire episode, just a couple little things I really want to point out, maybe some things to elaborate on that I didn't get to talk about non-spoilers. So let's hop into it. I got some notes here, just some little talking points I want to mention. Alright, let's talk about the opening shot first. Ethan Hawke, this was his idea, by the way. He takes a shot of water, and then he crushes the glass, puts it in his shoes, and steps into the shoes and starts walking. And his feet are in very good shape for someone who walks on glass all the time. And man, if Disney really wanted to go nuts, they would have him leaving bloody footprints as he walked. That would be cool. It was so unsettling, and it was such a great hook to this show, I will say. And Arthur Harrow has a tattoo on his arm that is just as creepy as the character of Arthur Harrow. As I mentioned, Ethan Hawke has a great presence to him when he plays this guy. The tattoo moves, it's whack, and it judges people, and if it judges them bad, he just kills them right on the spot, and the little cult town he's a part of lets him get away with that. Alright, so let's talk about Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, Oscar Isaac, that whole deal over there. So, Stephen Grant is such a sweetheart. I want to give him a hug. I feel bad for this guy. But something that's crazy is Mark Spector is the original personality. He developed Stephen Grant when he got DID. And so that means either this show has changed his origin or we're following the story of his alternate personality, which will probably make it sadder when Mark Spector just becomes the dominant personality, if he does. And that stake scene, that's what I was talking about when it goes from a happy moment to a sad moment straight into dramatic, because you have him all happy about his date and then he finds out it's Sunday because for those 2 days he was off doing his Moon Knight stuff and didn't realize it. So it's Sunday, and his date's not there, and she says, lose my number, and then he says he orders a steak, and you can see he's teary-eyed, and it was phenomenal acting. It almost brought a tear to my eye, and then it gets worse because he eats all the chocolates afterwards, and he gives his fish some sprinkles. It's so sad. Man, I love Stephen Grant so much, and that's what I'm saying. When it turns to Mark Spector, the Mark Spector reveal at the end, which we'll get to in a minute, is so cool. But it's so jarring to hear normal Oscar Isaac after hearing the Stephen Grant accent the entire episode. And you're ready to go the entire episode just with Stephen Grant. I hope there's a lot of Stephen Grant in these next couple episodes. He's a great character. I love him so much. He's written so well. And some of my favorite parts of the episode were the back and forths between Stephen and Khonshu, with Mark in the back fighting for control. In something I mentioned with Mohamed Diab of how he directs this is where he starts cutting the camera really close when Stephen turns into Mark, and then when Mark turns back into Stephen, he pulls the camera away, and it's just, it's minutes ahead, or seconds ahead for all we know. We don't know how far ahead it jumped, and you just see the carnage that Mark Spector caused before giving control back to Stephen. And then Khonshu gets all pissed, or I guess Stephen fights him off. I don't know how exactly it works, but it was a very smart directing choice of having the information reveal that way. It was genius. They had his fish die too, which sucked. I like that thing. It makes the character poster make a lot of sense. And so the one spoiler, the real reason I want to do a spoiler section, there was one big thing I want to talk about. That's the thing everyone's talking about. Well, one of the two things. It's the stake scene in the ending. The ending with the Moon Knight reveal, and this was genius because at first I was kind of bummed that we didn't see the fight and that this scene was in the trailer, but having rewatched the episode, this is the perfect way to end it. And the cool thing is, it doesn't feel like it's just Stephen dicking around the entire episode, then Mark Spector comes out. It has that mystery of him waking up in a field, his jaw broken. Speaking of, Mark hit the ground so hard he turned back into Stephen. And it's like the mystery and intrigue of Stephen not knowing what's going on and Khonshu's there. In the entire episode, you know Moon Knight's coming at some point. You just don't know when they're going to show it. And so I think it is genius to keep it very minimal. And all you see is the hallway, and you just hear the beating, and you see the sink, and then you see the dog trying to escape, but Moon Knight literally will not let it go. He's like, no, I'm gonna kick your ass. And then it goes in, and you see him all from the back. Then you only get a couple episodes of his face from the front. It was the perfect reveal with how the episode was building up to it, and I love it so much. I now love that we didn't see the fight. I think it's great. That was my main issue with the episode. I didn't discuss it, not spoilers, because it's not an issue anymore, but after seeing the episode twice, it is no longer an issue, and I love how they pulled it off. And I love how once Moon Knight comes out, it's the werewolf that's trying to escape. And that dynamic with Stephen and Mark, where Stephen's all like, he's freaking out, he's scared, and Mark he's like, hey, that thing's about to come through the door, you need to give control of me, I got this. That's so cool. He's like, hey, right here. This is real, right? I love that, the banter between the two of them. And fun fact, for those mirror scenes, Oscar Isaac had his brother play, I want to say his brother was Stephen for those bits from behind, and then Oscar Isaac was Mark. And so they would bounce off each other. And he said that was nice, which I imagine that was pretty fun for both of them to get to do. And the credits of this show. Holy shit, they're gorgeous. I'd say all the credits have been pretty cool. WandaVision's were amazing. I think Moon Knight topped it. I love the look of Moon Knight. It feels like something you would get in one of the Netflix shows, so I'm all here for it. But there you guys go. That's all I have to say on Moon Knight Episode 1. This was a great episode, a great premiere for this show. I hope the rest holds up to the quality of this first episode. So what did you guys think of Moon Knight Episode 1? Let me know down in the comments below. Also leave a like on this video, subscribe, click on the bell icon to receive all notifications from the MCU HQ. That's going to be it. Actually, you know what? We're going to let Moon Knight finish the video.